This August, the heat won't just burn your skin, it'll destroy your food supply. Record-breaking temperatures are already crushing crops, warping plastic containers, spoiling fresh goods, and overloading power grids. And if you think your pantry is safe, it's not. Extreme heat is about to expose every weakness in your food storage. We're talking melted nutrition, rotten essentials, and families left scrambling in blackout-stricken neighborhoods. But here's the good news. You still have time to fix it. You still have time to prepare your pantry for what's coming. Because if you wait until the heat hits, it'll already be too late. Number 1. Heat-resistant pantry staples. When the temperature outside hits triple digits, your pantry becomes a war zone, and most people don't even know it. Foods that seemed shelf-stable in normal weather can quickly turn rancid, sour, or useless when the heat hits hard. And in August 2025, with record-breaking temperatures on the horizon, your pantry could go from stocked to spoiled in a matter of days. The first thing you need to understand is that not all shelf-stable foods are built for heat. Brown rice? It goes rancid faster because of the oil in the bran layer. Nut butters? They separate and spoil unless kept cool. Chocolate? Obvious. But even things like whole wheat flour, olive oil, and some dried fruits break down faster in the heat than most people realize. So what do you stock instead? You start with the basics that can take the heat. White rice over brown. White rice may lack some nutrients, but it lasts significantly longer, especially in warm conditions. Instant mashed potatoes, lightweight, no spoilage risk, and stores for years if sealed properly. Dry pasta, particularly short varieties like macaroni or penne, hold up incredibly well under heat. Shelf-stable boxed meals like mac and cheese, as long as they don't include real cheese packets. Go for powdered, then move into dry beans and lentils, black beans, pinto, chickpeas, red lentils. These hold up to the heat and deliver protein, fiber, and calories without needing refrigeration. All they need is water and a heat source to cook, which we'll cover later. Next up, powdered and evaporated milk. Traditional dairy, forget it. Even plant-based milks can go bad fast in high temps. But powdered milk can last 1 to 2 years if sealed in a cool, dry bin. And evaporated milk, in cans, is heat-resilient and still delivers calcium and creaminess for baking, cereal, or coffee. Don't forget crackers, tortillas, and hardtack biscuits. Bread molds fast in heat. But crackers sealed in Mylar or vacuum packs? They survive. Tortillas, especially flour-based, can handle warmth and fold into dozens of easy, no-oven meals. And here's a surprisingly smart move. Stock dehydrated meals and freeze-dried foods. These were once just for campers or survivalists. Now, with mainstream demand growing, they're nutrient-dense, long-lasting, and practically immune to spoilage as long as they stay dry. Bonus, most require minimal cooking, perfect for when it's too hot to turn on the stove. Pro tip, avoid canned goods with high oil content. Things like canned spaghetti, chili with meat, or curry sauces tend to degrade faster when stored in heat-prone spaces. Stick with water-packed canned veggies, plain tomato paste, fruit in syrup, or beans in brine. And above all, watch your storage containers. Plastic bins may off-gas toxins or warp under pressure. If possible, store critical foods in metal tins, glass jars, or Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. These methods keep the temperature impact minimal and extend shelf life, even if your pantry isn't air-conditioned. Now ask yourself this. If the power went out today and the heat spiked to 105 degrees Fahrenheit, how many of the items in your kitchen would survive the week? Be honest. The time to rethink your pantry isn't when the warning sirens go off or the first heat wave hits. It's right now when the stores are still stocked and your shelves are still under your control. Go through your food today. Identify what can stay and what needs to go. Replace the heat vulnerable with the heat proof. Because when your neighbors are tossing out melted jars and spoiled rice, you'll be sitting comfortably with meals that last and no foul smells filling your kitchen. Number 2. Water storage and purification. In extreme heat, water isn't just a convenience, it's a matter of survival. And when August arrives with blistering temperatures, heat domes, and possible rolling blackouts, the real crisis won't be in your pantry, it'll be in your taps. And if you're not already thinking about your water supply, you're setting yourself up for disaster. Here's what the average household doesn't understand. In extreme heat, your water needs triple overnight. You're not just drinking to stay hydrated, You're replacing sweat, fighting heat stroke, cooking, washing, and keeping food safe. And the higher the temperature climbs, the faster water becomes a scarce resource. Now imagine that while temperatures soar, your municipal water system loses pressure, or your power goes out and your well stops pumping. Worse yet, aging pipes in your area start leaching bacteria into warm, stagnant water. That's not a conspiracy. That's already happening in rural counties across the US. So here's how you get ahead of it. Step 1. Store smart. Plastic water bottles seem like the easiest answer, but most of them are made with cheap, heat-sensitive plastics that break down and leach chemicals when exposed to high temperatures. That 24-pack sitting in your garage? It might already be compromised. Instead, invest in BPA-free 5-gallon water jugs, glass containers, or ceramic dispensers that shield contents from UV and chemical breakdown. Store water in cool, dark locations, away from walls that get sun exposure. And if you have to keep bottles in warmer spots, rotate them frequently and mark the storage dates clearly. Step 2. Don't rely on storage alone. Purification is your backup plan. Even the cleanest looking water can be contaminated quickly in high heat. Bacteria multiplies faster. Algae forms in standing containers. A minor leak or insect entry can ruin a gallon in a day. Stock multiple water purification methods. Boil when you have power or fire. Purification tablets, chlorine dioxide or iodine for emergencies. Portable filters like Life Straw or Sawyer Mini for personal use. Gravity-fed ceramic filters for long-term, no-power use. And here's the most underrated: solar distillers. A simple setup can purify water using just sunlight, a lifesaver in a heat wave when you may have no fuel or electricity. Step 3. Plan your volume. The rule is 1 gallon per person per day, minimum. That's just for drinking and basic use. In extreme heat, plan for 1.5 to 2 gallons per person daily. So for a family of 4, that's at least 60 gallons for a 1-week emergency. Sounds like a lot, but stacked properly, it doesn't take much space, especially when lives depend on it. And don't forget, water isn't just about drinking. Cooking, rehydrating food, washing hands, cooling down during heat stroke, all of it takes water. I recommend storing a separate, non-potable supply, like rain barrels or reclaimed water, for cleaning or flushing. Just make sure it's clearly marked and never used for consumption. One more tip. Keep a few cooling water strategies in your pantry, like spray bottles for misting, wet towels, or hand crank fans that can cool your body with minimal water use. It might sound basic, but in 100+ degree heat with no AC, it could be the difference between functional and fainting. So here's your challenge. Audit your water plan today. Where's it stored? How much do you have? How long will it last if the grid fails? Because when the temperature spikes and the faucet runs dry, it won't matter what else you have. If you don't have water, nothing else works. Number 3, canned proteins. When the power goes out and the fridge fails, the first food to spoil is always your protein supply. Meat, eggs, dairy, gone in hours. But what if the temperature outside is over 100 degrees Fahrenheit and there's no way to cook, refrigerate, or resupply for days? That's the brutal reality many regions will face in August. And if you haven't built a heat-proof protein reserve, you could be left hungry, weak, and vulnerable when your body needs strength the most. Protein isn't just for muscle, it's critical in high heat conditions. It keeps you full, regulates blood sugar, and helps your body recover when stress and dehydration wear you down. But not all protein stores well in extreme temperatures. Many pantry items spoil fast, and even shelf-stable goods like jerky or nut butters break down or go rancid when stored in heat over time. That's why your go-to backup needs to be canned proteins, simple, sturdy, and heat-resistant. Start with the classics: canned chicken and tuna. Both are packed in water or oil and sealed in high-temperature sterilized containers. They can last 2 to 5 years and remain safe even if your storage area heats up. Tuna provides essential omega-3s, and canned chicken can be added to salads, wraps, or eaten straight from the tin. Just make sure you buy low-sodium versions if you're prepping for long-term hydration control. Next on the list, Spam and other canned luncheon meats. Say what you want about them, but when refrigeration fails, Spam becomes a protein powerhouse. It's high-calorie, rich in salt, and can be eaten cold or fried if you've got a heat-safe cooking setup. Canned corned beef and Vienna sausages also last years and provide fat and protein to keep you going when other food options are scarce or spoiled. Don't underestimate the value of canned beans. They're plant-based, budget-friendly, and provide a combination of protein and fiber. Chickpeas, kidney beans, black beans, and navy beans can be tossed into wraps, cold salads, or eaten on their own. Just remember to stock manual can openers, or your pantry turns into dead weight. Also, rotate your cans regularly to avoid metal fatigue in older units exposed to heat. Add some shelf-stable tofu and vacuum-sealed lentil packs to diversify your options. These may not last as long as traditional canned goods, but they're ready to eat and easy on digestion, which is crucial when your body is under heat stress. Lentils also cook faster than most beans if you're using limited fuel or solar cooking methods. In short, variety isn't just nice, it's nutritional insurance. Packaging matters. Avoid cans with pop tops, which are more prone to failure in extreme conditions. Opt for solid seal cans and store them off the ground, away from direct heat sources or sunlight. Even a 10-degree difference can extend shelf life by months. Stack smart, label with markers, and keep your rotation tight. First in, first out. Always wins when temps rise. The bottom line, you need protein that survives August, not just winter. Canned meat, beans, and high-protein emergency packs give you the fuel to fight fatigue, resist heat exhaustion, and stay strong while the grid buckles and the supply chain stalls. Don't wait until your freezer fails and your neighborhood starts grilling spoiled meat. Build your high-heat protein plan now while the shelves are still full and the air is still cool. Number 4. Electrolytes and salt preservation. When the body overheats, it doesn't just sweat, it leaks life. You're not just losing water, you're losing electrolytes, the minerals your body needs to function. Sodium, potassium, magnesium. Without them, your muscles cramp, your energy crashes, and in extreme cases, your heart can even shut down. And in a heat wave, the risk isn't just high, it's guaranteed. That's why storing water alone isn't enough. You need to store your minerals too. Most people assume that hydration is only about drinking more water. It's not. If you keep chugging water without replacing electrolytes, you're actually making things worse. It's called hyponatremia, and it can lead to confusion, nausea, and even death in extreme heat. That's why your pantry needs to have more than just gallons of liquid. It needs salt, minerals, and a plan. Start with oral rehydration salts, ORS. These are simple packets you mix with clean water to instantly restore electrolyte balance. You can buy them in bulk online or even make your own using salt, sugar, and baking soda in the right ratios. They're small, cheap, and life-saving. Every home should have at least a week's supply per person, especially during summer months or emergencies. Next, stock electrolyte powders and tablets. Brands like LMNT, Liquid IV, and NUUN offer high sodium, high potassium formulas specifically designed for heat stress. Some are flavored, some aren't. Just check the labels. You want low sugar, high salt options that can be mixed into any water you store. Keep a variety. When food is scarce and heat is high, even a flavored electrolyte drink can boost morale. Now let's talk about salt as a preservation tool. Before refrigeration, salt was the world's original food saver. It draws moisture out of meat and vegetables, killing bacteria and keeping food safe in hot conditions. If you lose power but you have enough salt, you can still preserve meat or cure food until you find another storage option. Kosher salt, pickling salt, and Himalayan salt all have long shelf lives and multiple uses in survival prep. But salt isn't just for emergencies. It's a cooking essential, a nutrient, and even a barter item if shortages drag out longer than expected. Keep it stored in airtight, moisture-proof containers. Humidity and heat can cause clumping or spoilage. Consider vacuum sealing smaller salt packets to keep them usable over time. Salt is cheap now. It won't be later. There's also the option of stocking natural electrolyte sources. Canned coconut water, if stored correctly, can last months and deliver fast potassium in a crisis. Dried fruits like bananas, apricots, and raisins carry magnesium and sodium, but store them with care since they're vulnerable to heat and pests. When you rotate your pantry, check for stickiness, bloating, or mold. And don't forget your pets. Animals also suffer electrolyte loss in the heat, and pet electrolyte solutions are harder to find in a crisis. Stock a few powdered or liquid options made for dogs and cats. A collapse doesn't just affect humans, it hits the whole household. Here's the truth. You can survive without carbs, you can ration protein, but without electrolytes, your body will shut down in heat. Build this into your food plan now, because when the air feels like an oven and your body starts to break down, it won't be hunger that hits first, it'll be salt loss. And that's one crisis you can completely prevent if you act today. Number 5, cook-free and low-fuel meals. When a heat wave hits hard, cooking isn't just inconvenient, it can be downright dangerous. The last thing you want during a blackout in 105 degrees Fahrenheit weather is to be standing over a stove or open flame, raising your body temperature even higher. In extreme heat, your goal isn't just to eat, it's to survive comfortably without making things worse. That's why your pantry needs to be packed with cook-free or low-fuel meals that don't rely on power, refrigeration, or extended prep time. Start with the basics, ready-to-eat shelf-stable meals. This includes vacuum-packed entrees, MREs, meals ready to eat, and single-serve soups or stews that can be eaten straight from the pouch or can. While they may not be gourmet, these meals are designed for situations exactly like this. No cooking, no cooling, no mess. And in the middle of a heat crisis, a simple pull tab can be a lifeline. One of the smartest prepper moves is to stock nut butters. Peanut, almond, sunflower. They're high-calorie, full of healthy fats, and don't require heat to eat. Spread on crackers or tortillas. They form a filling meal in seconds. Just avoid versions with added dairy or chocolate, which can spoil faster in high temperatures. Stick with all natural and store them in cool, shaded spaces when possible. Another critical category: no cooked grains and starches. Think instant oats, couscous, or ramen noodles. Oats can be soaked overnight in water or shelf-stable milk to make overnight oats. A cool, hearty meal perfect for hot weather. Couscous can cook in hot water alone. No simmering needed. Ramen can be made with just boiled water, and if fuel's limited, you can even cold soak it. These are the kinds of meals that give you carbs and comfort without killing your resources. Tortillas are your best friend in heat prep. Unlike bread, they don't mold easily and can be stored in vacuum packs or low-oxygen environments to extend shelf life. Combine with beans, canned meats, or cheese spread, and you've got wraps that feed your family without a single flame. Add canned veggies or salsa for a boost of flavor and nutrients. But what if even boiling water becomes too risky or fuel is scarce? That's where solar cookers and rocket stoves come in. Solar ovens use sunlight to slowly heat food. No electricity, no fire, just patience. Rocket stoves burn twigs or biomass with extreme efficiency and almost no smoke. Perfect for outdoor use in hot climates without attracting attention or overheating your kitchen. A one-time investment can mean safe cooking, no matter what the grid does. Also consider cold protein shakes. Store powdered protein and shelf-stable plant-based milks like soy or almond. Mix in a shaker bottle and you've got a high-protein, zero-heat meal. It's especially good for kids, seniors, or anyone losing appetite in the heat. Keep powdered greens and fruit blends nearby for added nutrition without needing refrigeration. Remember, the goal isn't just survival, it's maintaining energy and function in brutal conditions. A meal that's quick, cool, and fuel-free helps you think clearer, move safer, and avoid heat exhaustion. Your pantry shouldn't rely on power, fancy tools, or 5 steps to prep. It should work even in the worst-case scenario. Start building your no-cook shelf today. Challenge yourself. Can you go 72 hours without heating a single meal? If the answer is no, your pantry isn't ready for what August could bring. Fix it now, while you still have the time, energy, and options. Number 6, temperature-stable storage methods. Your food is only as safe as where you store it. And when extreme heat takes over, most modern kitchens become slow cookers for spoilage. That neatly organized pantry? It's a ticking time bomb if it's not built to handle rising temperatures. In August, when the heat lingers late into the night and the power grid is under pressure, your storage method can make or break your entire prep strategy. Most people store food based on space, not temperature. But temperature swings are one of the top reasons food goes bad before the expiration date. Dry goods stored in 90 degrees Fahrenheit rooms degrade faster. Canned items can rupture under high heat. Even freeze-dried food can lose nutritional value if it sits in the wrong spot. So your first move is to locate your coolest indoor space, even if it means rearranging furniture or sacrificing closet space. Avoid storing food near exterior walls, especially those that face west. These absorb and radiate heat all afternoon. Pantries next to ovens or water heaters are just as dangerous. Instead, look for interior closets, shaded basements, or even underbed bins in air-conditioned rooms. And if AC is a luxury you might lose during a blackout, prep for passive cooling using thermal curtains, foil insulation panels, or blackout cloth to lower room temps naturally. Container choice matters too. Plastic warps, glass breaks. But Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, metal tins, and food-grade buckets with gamma lids? They're designed to survive in unstable environments. Store bulk grains, flour, sugar, or pasta in these containers with silica gel packs to fight moisture. Stack them off the floor to avoid heat from concrete, and don't let them touch walls that heat up in the sun. If you've got a garage or shed and no other space, consider building a DIY root cellar style cabinet. All it takes is a wooden box, some insulation, a few vent holes, and a shaded corner. Even a small drop of 10 to 15 degrees in storage temperature can double the lifespan of certain foods. Use frozen water bottles or ceramic jugs filled with cold water to naturally regulate temperatures inside a small pantry. Another smart investment? A fridge thermometer, even for dry goods. Place one in your pantry or storage room to monitor actual temperatures over the course of the day. You'll be shocked how hot things get behind a closed door. Once you know your weak spots, you can adjust, rotate, or relocate high-risk items before they're ruined. For your most precious supplies like medicine, vitamins, and high-fat items, keep a small cooler or thermal bag handy. In case of an emergency, you can quickly relocate these items to the coolest part of your home or a shaded outdoor pit if the power fails. Label your bins, create a map. Know where everything is and how quickly it will spoil if conditions change. This might sound like overkill until the first wave of 110 degrees Fahrenheit heat hits, and you open a can to find it bloated, rusted, or reeking. At that point, all your prep, all your budgeting, and all your planning have just been wasted. Food security isn't just about what you buy, it's how you store it. So before you buy another case of canned goods or bag of beans, ask yourself, where's it going to live? Because if it can't survive the heat, it won't survive long enough to help you. Store smarter now or pay for it later. Number 7. Managing spoilage, rotation, and waste. When you're building a heat-resilient pantry, it's not just about what you store, it's about how long it stays safe. Extreme temperatures accelerate spoilage, damage packaging, and invite pests. And without power, refrigeration, or consistent indoor cooling, even shelf-stable foods can go bad way faster than the label suggests. That's why you need more than stock. You need a system to manage it. Spoilage is sneaky in the heat. Cans look fine until they bulge. Packaged goods smell off before they change color. Rice and grains may feel normal, but harbor moisture inside the bag. And worst of all, heat can weaken the lining inside cans, leading to corrosion and contamination. So your first line of defense is simple. Inspect your food monthly, especially during the summer. Focus on visible red flags, check for rust, bulging, dents, leaks, or sticky residue. Any one of these is reason to toss the item immediately. Don't take chances with expired or compromised food in a crisis. If you're unsure, don't open and test it. Bad food can't be saved, and food poisoning during a heat wave is a medical emergency you won't want to face. That's why food rotation is everything. Use the FIFO method. First in, first out. The oldest food comes to the front of your shelf. The newest goes in the back. Mark every can, jar, and bag with a black marker showing the month and year you bought it. When you grocery shop, check your pantry first. Use what's oldest. Replace it immediately. Create a simple inventory list, even on paper, that shows what you have and when it needs to be rotated. Break it down by category: canned goods, grains, protein, liquids, snacks. Then set a schedule. Once a month, take 30 minutes and do a sweep. You'll catch problems early and save money by avoiding unnecessary replacements. If you find foods getting close to expiration, use them now, not later. Build weekly meals around soon-to-expire items. Donate what you won't eat. Freeze things if you have power. And if not, make a swap. Turn canned peaches into smoothies. Use older beans for chili. Make rice dishes that use up extra grains. A proactive rotation strategy means less waste, lower costs, and better preparedness. In high heat, pests become a bigger threat too. Bugs and rodents are desperate for food and water. Your pantry is prime real estate. Use sealed containers, diatomaceous earth along baseboards, and peppermint oil sachets to repel invaders. And check your dry goods weekly, especially flour, oats, and rice. One infestation can wipe out your whole stash. Lastly, learn the art of preserving excess before it spoils. Dehydrate fruits and veggies. Pickle leftovers with vinegar and salt. Make jerky from protein that's nearing its limit. Heat doesn't just shorten shelf life, it forces creativity. The more you learn now, the less you'll waste later when supplies tighten. Every can you throw out is money lost. Every spoiled bag is a missed meal. In August heat, waste adds up fast, and recovering from it becomes harder and more expensive. So turn your pantry into a living system, one that breathes, rotates, and adapts. Because when the power's out and the sun won't quit, it's the systems you build today that will keep you eating tomorrow. Number 8. Herbs, seeds, and indoor growing. When food systems falter and heat wipes out fresh produce, the first thing people miss isn't meat or snacks. It's flavor and freshness. And no pantry, no matter how stocked, can replace the crisp bite of a fresh herb or the satisfaction of something you grew yourself. In extreme heat, outdoor gardens struggle. Soil bakes, water evaporates, pests thrive. That's why you need to move your growing indoors, where you control the environment and keep your food supply alive, even during the worst weather. Start simple. Herbs. They're easy to grow, require little space, and transform bland survival meals into something comforting and familiar. Basil, mint, parsley, cilantro, chives, oregano. These all grow well in small containers on windowsills, countertops, or indoor racks. They grow fast, they keep regrowing after trimming, and they need only light, water, and patience. In a crisis, a few fresh herbs can boost morale and immune support in ways no can ever could. Next, store non-GMO, heirloom seeds that tolerate heat and grow fast. Think leafy greens like spinach and arugula, radishes, bush beans, and even small root vegetables like carrots. Focus on plants that mature quickly, within 30 to 45 days, and don't require deep soil or constant light. These are your backup fresh food supply, and in a long heat wave, they might be your only source of vitamins your pantry can't provide. Hydroponic systems are no longer just for tech geeks. You can now get countertop-sized hydroponic kits with built-in LED lights that use minimal power and water. Lettuce, kale, and herbs grow clean and fast with almost no mess. If the grid stays up, it's a constant source of fresh food. And if it goes down, many of these systems can be powered with a small solar generator or even a portable battery pack. Another great indoor growing tool is a sprouting kit. You don't need dirt, sun, or even a green thumb. Just soak and rinse seeds like mung beans, lentils, alfalfa, or broccoli, and you'll have edible sprouts in 3 to 5 days. They're loaded with nutrients and enzymes that are nearly impossible to store long-term otherwise. And they're crunchy, clean, and refreshing when the rest of your food feels heavy and dry. You should also think about microgreens. They're like baby versions of common vegetables, but packed with even more nutrients. These grow in trays with just a little soil or coconut coir. In about 10 days, you can harvest greens that add flavor, fiber, and color to your meals. Keep seed packets in a cool, dry place and rotate them annually to ensure viability. Storing seeds is a form of insurance. Keep them in mylar bags with desiccants inside sealed containers. Label everything clearly with dates. And don't just save seeds, practice using them now. Indoor growing is a skill, not a hobby, and you don't want your first time planting to be in the middle of a crisis. Lastly, indoor growing gives you something no canned food can: control. When outside crops fail, prices surge, and deliveries slow, your little herb garden becomes your private produce aisle. You're not just surviving, you're still living, still feeding your family food that grew under your roof. That's power. That's peace of mind. So grab some seeds, set up a light, and plant something today. Because when extreme heat turns the world outside hostile, your windowsill might be the most valuable farm you've ever had. Number 9. Emergency heat-triggered power prep. When the heat spikes, the grid breaks. It's a simple pattern we've seen in city after city: rolling blackouts, transformer failures, brownouts that stretch into full outages. And when the power goes, your pantry isn't just dark, it's vulnerable. Food begins to spoil, water systems stall, and everything that depends on electricity, your fans, your fridge, your freezer, becomes dead weight. That's why the final step in your pantry prep is power resilience, especially for heat-driven crises. Start with monitoring. If your power blinks out during a heat wave, you need to know what food is still safe and what needs to be eaten or tossed. A simple fridge and freezer thermometer can save hundreds of dollars in supplies. If the fridge rises above 40 degrees Fahrenheit for more than 2 hours, the food is at risk. Keep one in the door and one in the back and check them after every power event. Don't guess. Use data to act fast. Next, protect what matters with cooling backups. Small solar-powered fans can help circulate air in one room. Even a modest battery backup unit or solar generator can keep a mini fridge or USB fan running long enough to stretch your food's lifespan. Focus on critical loads, not the whole house. Your goal isn't comfort, it's preservation. For perishables, you need a heat evacuation plan. If the fridge is down and the temps are up, consume high-risk foods first. Milk, eggs, meats, use them or lose them. Keep a cooler pre-packed with reusable ice packs in your freezer. If you sense a blackout coming, move perishables fast and cover them with thermal blankets or towels to insulate. Don't forget low-tech insulation methods. A foam cooler and a few frozen bottles of water can extend your food's life by 12 to 24 hours. Cover fridges and pantries with reflective insulation or blackout curtains. Even placing cardboard between shelves and hot walls can make a difference. The goal is simple. Buy time until the grid comes back or you transition to shelf-stable food. Then there's lighting. Power outages at night during extreme heat are brutal. No AC, no fans, no light. It's a setup for panic. Store solar lanterns, rechargeable headlamps, and USB lights in your pantry, charged and ready. They help with inventory checks, food rotation, and safety during late-night heat stress. Lastly, plan for communication. Keep a battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radio to monitor blackout timelines or weather warnings. If you lose internet and cell service, this becomes your only link to the outside. Knowing when help is coming or isn't affects how you use every resource in your pantry. Your pantry isn't just about food, it's about survival strategy. And extreme heat doesn't just test your supplies, it tests your systems. So power-proof your pantry now. Build a blackout protocol, store foods that don't rely on cooling, and prep the gear that keeps your essentials alive when the grid fails. Because in August, it's not just the food that melts under pressure, it's the infrastructure. And if you're not ready for that moment, everything else you've prepared can disappear with the flicker of a dying light bulb. The heat is coming, and it's not just a weather forecast. It's a test of your pantry, your planning, and your ability to protect your home when everything around you starts to fail. August 2025 won't wait for you to catch up, but you've seen what's possible. You know what needs to be done. Start now. Rotate your food, secure your water, protect your power, and grow what you can. Because when others are panicking in the heat, you'll be the one who planned ahead. Hope won't save you. Preparation will. And you still have time to act, but not much.